Hi, everybody. It's July 7th, and I'm pleased to have with me today our new coordinator of evangelization and youth ministry, Kyle Glauner, who just joined our staff yesterday. It was yesterday, wasn't it?
Wednesday.
Oh, today's July 7th. Yeah, it was 2 days ago. All right. So, so anyway, so Kyle, who is Kyle Glauner?
Well, I've been Catholic all my life. I was born in Minot, North Dakota. My dad was in the Air Force, so I've moved around a bunch of different places, but right now I'm living in Newport News, Virginia, recent graduate of Franciscan University in Steubenville, Ohio, and I am engaged. So I have one brother, and we got 2 dogs at home.
Okay. So who do you like better, your brother or the dogs?
Some days it's a toss-up, but I'll take my brother. Yeah.
Okay. So tell us about who you're engaged to.
So her name is Rebecca, and she recent graduate of UVA, and she graduated chemical engineering, and right now she's working up in Charlottesville at a place up there that was actually started by 5 biomedical engineers from UVA a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So what's really special about Rebecca?
So many things, but most of all, she loves the Lord and really has a strong devotion to Saint Therese, strong devotion to Saint Joseph, and is just a very beautiful, devoted woman after God's own heart. Which,
Awesome.
what else could you ask for?
Yeah, right. You got a good one there. Okay, so Kyle, you were baptized a Catholic and raised in a Catholic home. Why are you still a Catholic?
Biggest reason is the Eucharist. Having that encounter with God, and to not only receive Him into my heart, but receive Him, every Sunday, and that's our strength. That's our food for the journey, but that. Just the beauty and depth of the scriptures, Mary, Saint Joseph, all the other saints who have lived that example of what it means to be Catholic in the world, and just, the university system, the hospital system, just all the good the church has done in the world as well. But ultimately it's the Eucharist and that relationship with Him that has kept me in the church.
Wow. Okay, so you mentioned Mary and Saint Joseph. Who's your favorite saint besides Mary? And can't count her.
Yeah, I'd probably say Pope St. John Paul II, because he, saint of modern times. A lot of people, still remember him, and he has been influential in my life for many reasons. But something that really struck me was his theology of the body, and just how do you love other people? How do you see other people as people and not just treat them either as objects, and how to love and engage and bring the love of Christ to other people, and with just how much he traveled, how many people he engaged with. He really changed the world, and really helped kind of with this focus and ushering in of the new evangelization. And he had strong devotion to Mary, strong devotion to the poor, and he forgave the man that tried to assassinate him, and that's powerful. And obviously, the strong Eucharistic devotion and love for Jesus.
Okay. Wow. Great. So, Kyle, tell me anything you want to say about evangelization.
So evangelization is really, you spreading the good news, but first you need to know what that good news is. So we need to understand our faith, what it is the church teaches, and why why she teaches it, because if you have, you know, all of these rules without a relationship, it doesn't make sense. It just, you know, seems like regulations. But, you know, when you see a good movie, or you've read a good book, or gone to a good restaurant, you know, it's very easy to be like, oh, you definitely have to try this place. Oh, you need to go see this movie. You know, we should be doing the same thing with just like, you know, have you heard about like the wonderful love and sacrifice that Jesus underwent for us, and, you know, this beautiful life of freedom that he empowers us to live through his Spirit, and, you know, to proclaim liberty to the captives, whether that be, you know, people that are in bondage and in prison, or people that are in bondage to sin, and, you know, to live this life of love and service for others. And, you know, God even talks about how man cannot find himself except through that sincere gift of self, and also talks about how Jesus reveals man to himself. And so it's like, if we don't know Jesus and, you know, what he says about us, you know, we don't know how to live lives, and, you know, with all the confusion and everything in the world, and all the hatred, you know, clarity and love and joy are so important in these times.
Yeah. So, so you said an awful lot about evangelization there, but it sounds like the basic thing is evangelization is introducing people to someone that you have a relationship with, namely Jesus. As St. John of the Cross said, you know, we have to imitate Christ, but that means we need to study Christ in the scriptures to know how to imitate him.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what's your vision for youth ministry, Kyle, as you come into our parish?
Well, I think, you know, really having them encounter Christ in the sacraments, especially the Eucharist, having them, you know, dive into the scriptures, you know, helping them get familiar with all of it, because, you know, as St. Augustine said, like, the scriptures are God's love letters to us, and, like, we need to read them, and, you know, Dr. Peter Kraft has echoed that as well. But, you know, in order to hear God's voice and, you know, understand his vision for our life, we first need to hear his voice and get familiar with it in scripture, and you know, the language of the liturgy and everything. So, I mean, really just trying to encounter people, build that relationship, and then bring them into that relationship with Christ as well. And then, you know, kind of forming, you know, missionary disciples. You know, you know, teach, instruct, and guide, and form a relationship with one group, and, you know, to send them off and, you know, have their own groups of missionary disciples that then they will send off and grow the church through that relationship.
Well, excellent. Gosh. So, so this is Kyle, and if you're ever coming around the church during the week, you know, I'm sure Kyle would love to meet you. So stop by and say hello, and of course you'll see him at Sunday Mass. Welcome, Kyle.
Thank you, Father.
And see you all in church.